Hello and good morning, students. You're welcome to our English class for this morning. It's a new week, and I hope you had a great weekend. You're able to do your work, and you're able to study, and you're able to rest. Okay, so this is lesson 5 in Unit 2. Remember, we're talking about personal identity. We're talking about personal identity, and what better to talk about personal identity than talking about our families? Because we are all members of a family, and our families are part of our identity. Before I go too deep into this talk, let's do our warm up. Now, warm up, we're doing proverb warm up for this unit. So today's proverb is expect nothing and you will never be disappointed. Expect nothing and you will never be disappointed. So, how do you understand this proverb? Let's talk. What do you understand by this proverb? Do you know any equivalents in Russian or Kyrgyz? If you know, tell us. But let's start with the first one. What does it mean to you? Expect nothing and you will never be disappointed. Let's take 3 minutes to discuss this among ourselves and let's see each and every one of our views about this proverb. Okay, so back to the topic of the day. We're going to learn today about family history. We're going to be studying, uh, we're going to be reading about a particular teenager's family and how this affects or how this is part of one's identity. So, a quick peek at what we'll do today. Today, we are going to do three activities. First is reading. Second is we're going to do some speaking. We're going to work in groups to discuss about some stuff. And we are going to work in pairs also to do an activity which is also like speaking, as we shall see. So, what do you think is family history? When we talk about our families, what is the importance of family to our identity as people? Why is family important as part of identity? Can we speak about this for the next 3 minutes? Give your ideas. Why do you think family is important for a person's identity? Or what is the importance of family in identifying one? Okay, so family is very important because family is what gives us a sense of belonging. Okay? Um our families, especially our parents and our siblings, they're very important because number one, they are our family is part of the first community that we meet when we come into this world. Once one is given birth to, family is the first unit that one belongs to. And most of the things that we are taught, apart from school, before we even start going to school, family is the first form of education that we have. If you have siblings or mother and father that that is where you learn from, especially if you were born into a family that have like siblings that are older than you. When you're giving birth to, they are the first form of contact you have. Most of the things that you know that you start to do before you go to school, you are being taught by family molds one's identity before one goes into school. Then school just fine-tunes it and make people make other choices also. So family is very important. So let's read about family history here, about a particular story here, then we will answer some questions. Let's see how this is. Importance of family in identifying one's identity. So family history. How do people find out how do people find out about their family history? How do people find out about their family history? DNA. Have you ever heard of this word DNA? I'm pretty sure you've heard of DNA when people are trying to identify themselves or know if someone has committed a crime or not. You always hear about DNA. If you watch movies a lot, DNA here, DNA there. What is DNA? Why is it important? Let's see. DNA is an acronym for deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. This is the hereditary material in humans and in almost all other living things. DNA is in the nucleus of the cells. It contains genetic information and instructions. What is DNA in your language? What is DNA called in your language? Okay? For me, I've always known it as DNA. It's called DNA. Perhaps it's called another thing in Kyrgyz or in Russian. Can someone tell us? Okay? That would be really nice. All right. So, to know your family, for family history to be identified, sometimes people take DNA tests, and this DNA test will help to be able to tell what family one is from, especially if one is missing or if one is trying to locate their family because they've been separated a long time, or if one never ever met their family before, or someone is looking for their great grandparents and stuff like that, and there's a DNA record of those great grandparents. They could be matched together, and from DNA tests you can tell if they belong in the same family or not, because members of the same family have a kind of similar DNA. There's something similar, a similar trait in the DNA. Okay, don't forget this word DNA, DNA, DNA. So let's go ahead and read the first passage today. Look at the map and read the article to find out about a scientific approach to family history. What does the map show? So this is the first question for you now. What does this map show? Come on guys, look at this map and tell me, what does this map shows? Of course, it shows three continents. It shows the continent of Africa, continent of Asia, and continent of Europe. So let's see what is the connection. You can see some routes being drawn there, some line drawn, and let's see what that is all about. A remarkable journey. I am from Poland, and my parents, grandparents, and great grandparents are Polish too. It was really interesting to find out that my family history starts in Africa. The DNA test showed that over time, my ancestors traveled from Africa to northeastern Europe. They were part of a group which also traveled as far east as India and Pakistan. I had no idea. This has helped me understand one simple thing. We are all one big family. Louisa. This is written by Louisa. This is said by Louisa. You can see the quotation mark. This is exactly what Louisa said, perhaps in an interview or something. So let's listen to Raju also. I was amazed to find out that my ancestors traveled through Eastern Europe on their way to India, where I was born. Suddenly, I felt connected with countries like Hungary, Romania, and the Czech Republic. Before this, they were only names on a map to me. Raju. This is Raju's statement about family history. So, as you can see here, according to Louisa and Raju, people from all continents or from these three continents are connected in a way, because people travel and go to other places and people might lose contact, but with the help of DNA test they've been able to trace where they're from, and that is really exciting. Okay, so this is the passage. Let's see the task that we need to perform. Find these words in the text, choose the correct meaning. These are the words here: remarkable, ancestors, amazed, connected with. So which of these are the correct definition of those words? Let's show the passage again. This is the passage. Okay, we can find those words in the passage. Look at the passage again. Read for yourselves now. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Look at this whole slide, read everything here, and after 2 minutes I will display the questions again. Then we're going to choose which is the correct meaning for the words that we've just seen. Remarkable, ancestors, amazed, connected with. The four meanings in A says long and difficult, important people in history, confused, distance from. B is very unusual in a way that you admire. People in your family a long time ago, very surprised, joined to. So this definition A's or definition B's, which is the correct meaning for these words here. Okay? Of course, as your guess is mine, all the words here and B words are the exact meaning of these words. Remarkable means very unusual in a way that you admire. Ancestors mean people in your family a long time ago. Amazed means very surprised, and connected with means joined to. Okay, now you answer these questions now. From the passage, answer these questions. Number one, on the map, which is Louisa's ancestors' route? Which is Raju's? The route means from where did they start the journey and from where did they end the journey. Route is the pathway to a particular journey or to a particular place or to a particular thing. Okay? So answer that question. Which is Louisa's ancestors' route and which is Raju's? Number two, have Louisa's family lived in Poland for a long time? How do you know? 3. What nationality is Raju? 4. What surprised Louisa and Raju about their ancestors? And 5. What can your DNA tell you about your family? These are the questions. Go back to the passage again, read and answer this question. Answer this question. They are as easy as can be. 5 questions and passage which is just 2 paragraphs. So just going to read one more time so that you can answer this question. And some of us that have difficulty reading can just listen and remember the question and try to sort out the answers to the question right now. I'm from Poland and my parents, grandparents and great grandparents are Polish too. It was really interesting to find out that my family history starts in Africa. The DNA test showed that over time, my ancestors traveled from Africa to northeastern Europe. They were part of a group which traveled as far east as India and Pakistan. I had no idea. This has helped me understand one simple thing. We are all one big family. This is Louisa. I was amazed to find out that my ancestors traveled through Eastern Europe on their way to India, where I was born. Suddenly, I felt connected with countries like Hungary, Romania, and Czech Republic. Before this, they were only names on the map to me. So, as easy as it gets. So, back to the question again. Answer these questions now. Take 7 minutes. Answer these questions. So, I believe we're done. Let's do correction to these questions now. So, first question, on the map, which is Louisa's ancestors' route and which is Raju's? Take a look at the map. Now, the map with the map with the how do you call it now? The map with the blue color. The map with the blue color is Raju's family's route because Raju's family started from Africa. They moved to some part of Europe before settling down in Asia. Okay, that is Raju's map, and the red one is Louisa's. The red one is Louisa's uh, route. Look, I'm from I'm from Poland, and my grandparents and my great grandparents are Polish too. It was really interesting to find my family history starts in Africa. The DNA showed the DNA test showed that over time my ancestors traveled from Africa to northeastern Europe, which is here from Africa to northeastern Europe. Then they were part of a group which also traveled as far east as India and Pakistan. So their route is from Africa to Eastern Europe, then to Asia. However, Rajus is that I was amazed to find out that my ancestors traveled through Eastern Europe on their way to India. Okay, so this is it. Uh, this is Rajus. Rajus is this from Europe to Asia, and this here is Louisa's route from Africa to Europe, then to this part of Asia here that has been discussed. Okay, so great. Louisa's family lived in Poland for a long time. Have Louisa's family lived in Poland for a long time? How do you know? The answer is yes, they've lived for a long time in Poland. How do we know? Because she said her parents, her grandparents, and great grandparents also were Polish. That is like four generations now. You see? So that shows that they've lived in Poland for a long time. What nationality is Raju? What nationality is Raju? Let's see. Raju is Indian because he said his parents travel everywhere from Europe on their way to India where he was born. So Raju is essentially Indian. What surprised Louisa and Raju about their ancestors? What surprised them about their ancestors? Of course, what surprised them about their ancestors is that their ancestors have traveled all over, the continent. They are all their ancestors are not from where they are presently. Their ancestors are all from Africa. Started from Africa, then traveled to other parts of the world to where they have settled in now with their present parents. So what can your DNA tell you about your family? What can your DNA tell you about your family? Yes, your DNA can tell you where you originate from, where you're from thousands or hundreds of years ago. It can tell you your origin, where you come from, and it can trace you, or it can trace back to your grandparents, great grandparents, great grandparents, and up to the like fifth, sixth, or whatever generation you want to find out. The NHS is important, it's able to do all of that. Now we are going to talk. We're going to work in groups, in pairs, and ask this question to yourselves. It's about your family, okay? Select or pair yourself with another student and talk about these questions. Okay? One, what do you know about your family history? Talk to each other. Tell each other what you know about your family, essentially, what you can tell. Any information you have about your family that you can tell, go ahead. Discuss with each other. What do you know about your family history? One, has the family always lived in the same area? Have your family always lived in the same area? 3. Are you named after anyone in your family? And 4. Who is the oldest person in your family? Tell about him or her. So, with this group discussion, with this pair discussion, we end this class. Hopefully, you can get interesting information about each other's family. And please be sensitive here. Not if anyone you are talking about your family, and families are important. So please keep any sensitive information that anyone tells you about their family, keep it as confidential as you can. Keep it as secret as you can. It's not good to share people's family information with others, especially if they do not want you to. So as you talk about each other's family, be sensitive to each other's family stories, and appreciate each other's family stories. So this is it. We have another class later in the day, and we shall see and answer other questions further if there is need to.